Good evening. I would like to call this regular meeting of the Muscle Shoals School Board of Education to order. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mrs. Woolfolk will call the roll. Present.
Here.
Here. Here.
Here.
Dr. Holden, we have a quorum.
All right. First item is I recommend approval of the agenda as presented.
Thank you, Dr. Holden. Board, our first order of business is to approve the agenda as presented. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll move.
Thank you, Ms. Allman. We have a motion to approve the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Rudolph. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, Dr. Holden, the agenda has been approved.
All right. Next is minutes from the June 27th regular meeting and the July 12th special meeting, and I recommend approval.
Thank you. Board, the superintendent has recommended approval of the board meeting minutes as presented. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Thank you, Dr. Rudolph. We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
All right. Under our business action items tonight, I have no correspondence, so we'll move on to our business action items. First, we have the consent agenda, and for the consent agenda, the board has been furnished with background material on each item, or has discussed the item at a previous meeting. Consent agenda items will be acted upon with one vote without discussion. If a board member wishes to discuss any item, it will be pulled from the consent agenda and voted on separately. For the consent agenda tonight, we have the bills and accounts for June, the June financial reports, and those bank statements have been reconciled. We have some declaration of surplus, some items to be surplus tonight, as well as a clerical error correction to the 23-24 holiday schedule, and a supplemental addition, just some language to the maintenance salary schedule. Does any board member wish to pull any of that from the consent agenda and vote on it separately? Hearing none, Madam President, I recommend the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you, Dr. Holden. Board, the superintendent has recommended approval of the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Allman. We have a motion and a second. Call to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, Dr. Holden, motion carries.
All right. Next item on the agenda is an amendment to the CSFO contract. And Dr. Davis, this does not require a recommendation from the superintendent. You just need a motion from one of your board members to approve the amendment to the contract as presented.
Thank you, Dr. Holden. Do I have a motion to approve this amendment to the contract?
I move.
Thank you, Ms. Allman. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. King. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
So next item is the personnel report, and I recommend the personnel report as presented.
Thank you, Dr. Holden. Board, the superintendent has recommended the approval of the personnel report as presented. Do I have a motion to approve this?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Dr. Rudolph. We have a motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, Dr. Holden, the personnel report has been approved.
All right, for the benefit of the audience, under employment, Vicky Aguirre, system-wide C&P assistant assigned to the high school. Casey Ferris, system-wide paraprofessional assigned to Muscle Shoals Middle School. Matthew Porch, ISS teacher. And Megan Roper, pre-K lead teacher at the Muscle Shoals Early Learning Center. Under other part-time special appointments or supplemental assignments, we have our teams contracts for 7 individuals, 5 of those will be advanced contracts and 2 will be preliminary contracts. Those names are Holly Brooks, Jeremy Clemens, Dane Glover, Matt Jones, Carly Malone, and the preliminary contracts are Sherry Arthur and Connor Osborne. We have Joel C. Rutherford for an additional block of instruction during the 23-24 school year due to increased enrollment. And we have 2 individuals being appointed tonight to be system-wide leads in our community ed extended day program. Also, we have 14 student aides for the community ed extended day program for the 23-24 school year. We have Reagan Holloman as a contract speech language pathologist under the direction of our student services supervisor. We have stipends for mentoring duties during the 23-24 school year. And you have those names that will either be funded as a locally funded mentor for a new employee, but someone who is not a first or second year teacher. And then those that are state funded are mentoring teachers who are new to the profession. They're either first or second year teachers. So you have those names in front of you. Also, we have a behavioral aid technician supplement for Karen Thigpen for 23-24. We have our Saturday school staffing for 23-24. That's Jordan Crow, Colton Knox, Drew Smith, and Holly Wade. We have additions or corrections to the summer 23 summer literacy and math camp staffing. You see those names listed there, as well as 2 additions to our nurse substitute list, Tara Lanier and Deanna McBrayer. Information only, but not for board action. You have your Kelly Services staffing update there. And some of those community ed extended day system leads will be working through Kelly Services. That's why you see those listed there and some others listed on the personnel report. And then you have some additional folks who are being hired in that capacity as paraprofessionals as well. On the personnel report, you also have copies of the team's contract. So if any of you have questions about those, feel free to ask, but you have those in front of you as well. And with that, Madam President, that's all I have for the personnel report. All right, next is the superintendent's report, and just a quick update. We do have new employee orientation. Ms. Nichols has been working extremely hard getting those that day planned out for our new employees. They'll start out in this room, and it's a full day, a fun day. They're going to get to tour the schools and meet all the folks in the from the principals and central office staff that they need to know. So we're looking forward to welcoming those new employees in this room on Thursday, July 27th. And then Monday, we have Institute. And we're looking forward to that. A lot of time and efforts being put into planning that. Certainly you're welcome to be here if your schedule allows. But, you know, our theme for 23-24, and you've heard a little bit of this already, and we've challenged our administrative team with this, but we're going to dream big. I mean, this is something that the city is doing. The city is dreaming about the future of what the city of Muscle Shoals will look like 5, 10, 20 years from now. And we're going to do the same thing in the school system. And so we're looking forward to being able to do that, being inspired at Institute on Monday. And we'll spend some time that day, too, celebrating. That's how we started our administrative retreat. We started with celebration, and then we dreamed a little bit together. And we're going to do that with Institute. We're going to celebrate our faculty and staff and their years of service. They'll learn a little bit more about that when we get there on Monday, but we're excited about that, highlighting the time and effort that people have put into making Muscle Shoals what it is up to this point, and then dream about the future a little bit. So looking forward to that. First day of school is next Thursday, August the 3rd. Our K-5 schools will be doing a staggered start as they have over the last several years, but our middle school and high school will hit the ground running on August the 3rd, and so we'll be getting more information out to our parents. We know it's an exciting time, it's an anxious time. You know, kids going to school for the first time, or maybe they're going to a new building, new teacher. We'll be putting class lists out over the next few days, so we're really looking forward to it. It's kind of like, you know, I get asked a lot, I know everybody in the room does, are you ready for school to start back? And my answer is generally, ready or not, here they come, because they're coming. Whether we're ready for them next week, they're going to be here, and we are definitely looking forward to that. But at first glance, I did want to say this, and I can't really get into a lot of this information publicly just yet because I think this information is embargoed, but our testing data looks really good. I think I can say that. I think you're going to be really pleased with some of the results that these folks have been poring over and disaggregating, and I know Ms. Nichols is getting her Data Roadshow together that she'll share a little bit at Institute, but then she'll go to those first of the year faculty meetings and really, get down in the weeds, so to speak, with the schools and the teachers there about what the data looks like. And so, obviously with data, there's always room for improvement. We're going to highlight some things that we need to work on, but we're really excited about some things that we're going to celebrate. And I know the principals, because I've gotten a few of the emails today, are already planning some celebrations with their staffs at that very first faculty meeting. Not the one that Ms. Nichols would attend. I'm talking about next week when they all come together. They're going to celebrate, and there's definitely room for that. So let's see. I've already mentioned the several security upgrades, so I'll skip over that one. I mentioned that during the work session. I did want to say, too, I normally say this at this meeting, but we definitely want to give a shout out to our custodial and maintenance departments for the work they do in the summer, the types of things that they do you can't do during the school year when the buildings are full, but our schools look great. And I've had several of our principals say they look better this year than they ever have. So we're definitely going to tell those folks that, brag on them. I know some of them even took the guys out to lunch and just, those kind of things are just, they're small, but they're noticed. And we definitely want to thank them for all that they do to make our school buildings look great every year. So with that, that's all I have.
Dr. Holden, this concludes our agenda for the meeting. There is no further discussion. Adjourn.